There's been one word which has been used in every single review of this film so far, so I'll keep the trend going. Malignant is... bonkers. In Malignant, Madison is paralysed by shocking visions of grisly murders, and her torment worsens as she discovers that these waking dreams are in fact terrifying realities. Welcome and welcome back to Game Over Movie Reviews. My name is Peter and this is my movie review of Malignant. Before I get going, in case you missed it in the title of this video, this will be a spoiler-filled review. With that out of the way, I can start by saying I think Malignant is possibly one of the stupidest films I've ever seen, and after I saw it, I didn't like it, but now, thinking back to it, perhaps I do like it. Do I like it now? No, I don't think I do. I think my views are changing on this film slightly because of what I believe James Wan set out to do is exactly what we got on the screen. Malignant isn't cheesy and schlocky and camp and full of terrible dialogue and performances by accident. This is exactly what Wan set out to do. Why? I couldn't answer, but I imagine after making $1 billion at the box office with 2 of his last 3 films, Warner Brothers probably just said to Wan, here's a massive pile of cash, do exactly what you want, we don't even want to check it, send us the finished film and we'll release it, no questions asked. After all,
he is the one.
So what do I like about this preposterous film? Well, James Wan is a good director and he knows how to make a good looking film. Apart from some slightly monotone lighting, Malignant is a great looking film with some really creative shot work, some imaginative, if not always perfect special effects, and some very over the top sets. It's never subtle, not even for a second, but it's always fun to look at. Once we find out that Madison is being controlled by Quarto from Total Recall,
open your mind.
Malignant goes from a cheesy slasher into a supernatural version of John Wick meets Brawl in Cell Block 99, which had me wincing because it was so bad, and yet at the same time I was kind of grinning too. Honestly, what is this film? The over-the-top gore is pretty impressive and I like the way nothing was held back and everything's there on the screen. Bones are popping out, eyes are popping out, and blood and guts everywhere. And finally, for the good stuff, I just like that James Wan made Malignant. I'm guessing he woke up one day with half an idea in his head and just decided to make an ode to the cheese fest VHS horrors of the early 90s. Absolutely fuck logic and structure and characterisation and just go for a big glossy, well-made horror version of The Room.
Oh, hi Mark.
If you've seen Malignant, are you in the 5-star camp or the 1-star camp? Because there doesn't seem to be many people in that middle ground. And before I get into what I didn't like about Malignant, here's a message from Gabriel. Like and subscribe! And you should probably listen to him because if you don't, well, just say, watch your back. To what I didn't like about Malignant, and we'll start with the big one, too often I felt this film straddled 2 sides. What I mean by this is that it's clearly meant to be a stupid film, it's meant to be very over the top, and yet the tone throughout is super serious. There's very little actual comedy or light moments here. The last third is one of the craziest things I've ever seen at the cinema, good or bad, but the first 2/3 are fairly dull and repetitive and by the numbers. Some dialogue is terrible and clunky, and some of the performances, especially in that Channel 5 level prologue, are genuinely awful, but again, I believe this to be intentional. But then you have Annabelle Wallis and Maddie Hassan doing their best and playing it totally straight. Well, more or less.
But next time, I'll be ready for you.
The tonal and writing and delivery clashes get a little bit annoying, as if the film can't quite fully commit to its craziness. It does make me wonder if this film had been a bit more maybe comedic from the start or totally batshit from the off. Would this have been a more rewarding film in general? Because let's be honest, in 10 years time, people are only really still going to be talking about that last 20 minutes. So even if this film is trying to be ridiculous, there is some real crap in Malignant I just can't look past. Why is Gabriel supernatural? Why can he control lights and talk through the radio? The film makes no effort to give us any reason for this creature to have these powers. How is Gabriel the most proficient hand-to-hand combatant in the world? And the same goes for gun skill and cumbersome but incredible reverse body parkour. Has he been taking jiu-jitsu and firearms lessons behind Madison's back? Behind the back, get it. The face of Gable himself is laughably bad and pretty much amounts to some mush with a mouth which moves up and down a bit, in a manner not too dissimilar to Beaker from the Muppets. Like and subscribe! The twist is signposted so often through the film that I think it would be difficult not to have worked it out. But it's the kind of film where if you haven't worked out the twist, when you watch it a second time, you'd probably kick yourself because there are so many clues. Then there's a section which is a massive missed opportunity involving Madison's sister who visits a hilariously creepy looking old hospital, which is a clear nod to the House on Haunted Hill, where the only scary moment is how stupidly close she parks to this cliff's edge. In summary, I could go on and on about the nonsensical and downright preposterous moments of this film. Your enjoyment level will be intrinsically linked to how many of these issues you're willing to forgive because of the nature of Malignant. I've seen people give Malignant 5 out of 5 or 10 out of 10, and these people are obviously willing to forgive the film's multiple sins due to just how bonkers it all is. And that's fine. I, however, can only let certain things go. Malignant too often straddles across a precipice of utter nonsense and a moody, serious horror, which constantly had me asking, what the fuck am I watching here? My score for Malignant, I think, is 4.5 out of 10. Thanks for watching.
Game over, man. It's game over.